The next speaker is listed as Johnny Beetlejuice.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Johnny Beetlejuice. My address is 6301 Riverside Drive, and I just want to thank you for your time. And, you know, I have an incredibly serious matter to attend to, nuclear war. So, I'm an American patriot, and I want you to know how COPHEL can help with the Iran and Israel strikes. So the Islamic Republic of Iran, under the rule of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, continues to sponsor terrorism, destabilize the Middle East, and pursue nuclear capabilities that threaten the most important country in the world, Israel. And as you know, Iran was just minutes away from a nuclear bomb at the time of our beautiful Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump, sent in those stealth bombers to blow their nuclear facilities to smithereens. Oh my gosh.
Sir, no comments from the audience, please.
Oh my gosh, I have to turn around. Okay. Well, it's more for everyone else here. So the time for half measures has passed. As Lindsey Graham said, a U.S. senator and known heterosexual, we need U.S. boots on the ground in Iran, and we need it now. If the United States is to uphold its role as a leader of the free world and defender of Israel, we must be willing to take decisive actions, military if necessary. And if there are anti-Semites who don't want to send U.S. troops to Iran because they think Iraq and Afghanistan were a disaster, refresh my memory, because I remember 2003 was one heck of a time. I drank Bud Light while watching us invade Iraq, and that's actually how I met my wife, at a Daytona biker bar, the same one that serial killer Eileen Wuornos used to frequent. But I call on COPHEL City Council and all of COPHEL to stand united and put the Ukraine and Israel flags in your social media bios. Anyways, Iran's regime is not merely hostile, it's aggressive. It arms and funds terroristic groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and Queers for Palestine. They indulge in disgusting behaviors with the Bakabazi boys, and they rarely shower. They must be destroyed. Deterrence requires credibility. Credibility requires Lockheed Martin bombs. And if we're not willing to use first, meaning bombs, missiles, and more bombs, then we should not pretend to lead. This is not about conquest, it's about defense. So thank you, Mayor of COPHEL, and please stand as we fight and bomb Iran. Thank you very much. Johnny Beetlejuice is my time.
I would like to ask to consult with the city attorney at this time.
I'm so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself, why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. But break them off, yeah, gotta break them off.
Is it on? Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein. That's Jimmy's fault that my mic was turned off, so blame that on Jimmy.
Sorry about that.
He did a good job as Johnny Beetlejuice defending Israel's conquest in Iran, so I'm sure the IDF and AIPAC is going to enjoy that video. They're probably watching it on the front lines right now as we speak. But we have a great show. We have Hollywood icon, the one, the only Kevin Sorbo on. You might also know him as Hercules. And we have terrific female comedian, the one, the only Leonarda Jonie joining us. Sorry, that's a tongue twister. So before we get into our great show, we got to pay the bills real quick. So, guys, if you want to drop a few extra pounds, boost energy levels, or reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then you'll love these two American-made health supplements. First is Liver Health Formula. Fat deposits in the liver can pile on the pounds and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula helps reduce fat deposits with nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. In a customer survey, almost 60% reported better weight management and 87% reported more energy. Next is lymph system support. The natural ingredients in lymph system support help gently flush extra fluid and toxins out of the body, which can help reduce swelling in the legs and feet. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 35% off Liver Health Formula and lymph system support, along with all the other 45 health supplements PureHealth research has to offer. head over to purehealthresearch.com and use coupon code Alex at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com, coupon code Alex. Go there and support them. All right, guys. No more introduction is needed. I just introduced him. He's a Hollywood icon. You know him as Hercules. Now he's in so many great faith-based films. He's went from Hollywood to hero, true American hero. We welcome on the one, the only, Kevin Sorbo. Kevin, how are you doing, sir?
Good to see you, sir. Always a pleasure to watch what you're doing because I love the bravery you have to go into the middle of these crazy lunatics that are out there protesting whatever they have to protest that day.
Well, Kevin, I got my courage from watching you as when you were Hercules. I was like, I want to be like that strong, masculine, dominant hero. And I asked you this, this is the second time on the show, and I really appreciate it, Kevin, because like I was even driving into work, and I'm not trying to get, sentimental, but I was like, man, I can't believe I get to have Kevin on my show today, because as a young kid, I watch your show all the time. It's kind of a very surreal moment, so I really appreciate you coming on. But let's talk about real stuff. Kevin, what I like about you is that you're outspoken. Can you give us, though, a concrete example of where you being outspoken has hurt you and where it has helped you? Can you give us the yin and the yang?
Well, I've kind of always been outspoken, but not to the point of that, it's weird with Hollywood. About a dozen years ago, my manager, a longtime manager and agent, both called me and said, we can't work with you anymore. No studios want to work with you. And I said, well, why? And they said, well, because they know you're conservative and you're a Christian. And so I said, so the things you're posting, I mean, when I post the truth on the internet, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Granted, I put a little sarcastic twist to it all, but still the reality is it's still the bloody truth. And I just laughed at it. I mean, I'm the first cancel culture. I'm ground zero. I'm the first cancel culture victim in Hollywood before it became a term. I even knew it was a term. We're going back like 12 years on this thing. So I formed Sorbo Studios. And my beautiful wife, Sam, and I do our own movies and other independent productions come at us. I got 4 new movies coming out this year. I got 3 documentaries coming out this year. So screw Hollywood. I don't need them. They can be like the little 7th grade mean girls that they are and be all mad at you and I for being conservative. God forbid we have a different party affiliation. It's so immature and crazy, but it started a long time ago for me. And I just said, the hell with this. I've always been that way. First time I could vote in 1980, I voted for Ronald Reagan. My parents flipped out because I grew up in Minnesota. They were Walter Mondale, Hubert Humphrey Democrats, which of course they would be more center or more conservative day than the rest of the Democrat Party.
Well, okay, Kevin, it's so funny, though. You kind of talked about all your accolades, but you're missing a huge one, and I think this is the main reason why you failed in Hollywood, is that you don't have a transgender child. Were you not willing to transition any of your great children? Because isn't that what you have to do? You have to turn your boy into a girl or your girl into a boy to make it in Hollywood?
It's very important to do that. Look, when I do a lot of speaking events, I do a lot of pro-life speaking, I do a lot of health speaking, I do a lot of motivational speaking, and every time I get up there, I thank all the ladies and gentlemen for being there, and I've just used their wrong pronouns. I don't care, and it always gets a standing ovation.
Of course.
So there you go.
Yeah, because nobody likes his pronouns. Nobody likes his stuff. So is Hollywood though going to come back? Because I wanted to ask you about Elon and stuff, but Hollywood's so important to me. I think that that's the fabric of society, and now you saw that change to reality TV, and now movies are kind of dying. That happened roughly about 20 years ago. But will Hollywood come back? Are we going to get good movies like Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction and TV shows like Hercules? Is that going to ever come back, in your opinion, Kevin, or is it actually dead?
I think it will. I got a hint of it back in 2018. I did a movie that my wife wrote that Sean Hannity funded called Let There Be Light. It opened #2 per screen average. This is a $3 million movie up against Thor Ragnarok, a $300 million movie with a $100 million advertising budget. Opens #2 per screen average. I get a call from Netflix saying, we want you to run our inspirational division here at Netflix. I have 4 meetings with these guys. This is back in 2018, so we're back 7 years. And they said, let's kind of do something, see what we got. I had 4 meetings over 4 months with them. Ultimately, they did nothing. It was all just lip service. But the reality was, that was sort of the beginning of it. But now other independent producers, along with myself, we're getting calls from the networks and calls from the cable outlets saying, hey, I think we want to do more of these family-friendly type movies that you're doing. So I think there's going to be a big change over the next couple of years. I mean, Disney may not want to do it. I mean, they're going to lose about $350 million on their latest woke rendition of Snow White. So,
and not only that, Kevin, not only did Snow White do bad, but they say that Disney's actually hiding that their park revenue is down as well, allegedly, in this past year, and that they had actually one of their lowest Pride months ever in Orlando and in Anaheim. So even at the parks, aren't doing well.
Alex, I can attest to that because I live here in Florida, and the commercials on TV right now are, if you're a Florida resident, please come on in. It's like $60. It's literally 4 times cheaper. You can bring a family of 4 now for the price of 1 ticket. Everybody's going to Universal. They have much better rides. That's where everybody's going.
No, Universal is killing it because they have better rides. They've changed with the times, and it's kind of crazy because everybody, likes Disney, but now you go to Disney and it's just Disney adults. And listen, I like nostalgia. I like going back to my childhood, but when you're a 600-pound plus size park hopper and you're riding the electrical cart around and eating the funnel cakes all day, I don't know if that's really good for your overall well-being or health. You know what I mean? As an adult going to Disney like that. What do you think about Disney adults?
Disney adults is quite interesting. Well, we're the most obese country in the world, so you can thank all the fast foods and all the, all the commercials they have on TV. By the way, you notice it too. Every 66% of the commercials on TV are more drugs, more pushing more and more drugs on us to take this shot, take that pill, take this. It's unbelievable to me. And I know our president, it's Kennedy, want to start getting rid of that commercials on TV.
Well, and that is true because, Kevin, I've been trying to lose some weight. I've lost a little bit of weight, but that's when you really notice when you're trying to kind of not eat. Every damn commercial is either a pharmaceutical company or a fast food hamburger. Literally every commercial is one or the other. And it's not good because of the stuff in the fast food. Now, I'm of the opinion, now let me ask you kind of a tough question because I know you are outspoken. You're not going to shy from this. I don't like that Elon wants to hook a computer to our brain so that we can get an erection. You know what I mean? I think that seems kind of, us merging with computers, I think that it sounds good in theory. If you have a phantom limb or something, you lose your limb in the military, you have a mechanical limb that you can control. That sounds good, but now I feel like that technology is satanic if they hook us up to computers. So is Elon a good guy, Kevin, in your opinion, or is he a bad guy? Because I kind of think he gives me the villain vibes a little bit. Is that a wrong assumption on my part, Kevin?
Well, no, I mean, obviously he's one of the most brilliant minds the world has ever produced.
Yes.
Let's face it.
Yes.
Even on that photo you have, he's mulling over the idea now if this is a good idea to put chips in the people's brains. So I don't want that to happen, certainly. So I don't look at the way it's changing. I mean, AI is changing everything. I mean, they can take, they'll have Marilyn Monroe do a movie with Tom Cruise now. I mean, it's crazy what they're able to do. And it's also dangerous. But, you can't stop the technology. I mean, if you just think of the technology just in the last 50 years compared to the thousands of years there was mankind, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's changed so much since I was a kid in the 70s that I can't keep up with it at all.
I know, Kevin, it's weird to think, I mean, I'm a young man, you're still a young man, though. And just think about how much cell phones have changed in the past 15 years. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is totally...
Gene Roddenberry was right.
Really? And I want to say, all this technology is bad, but also, I mean... I don't want to stop using it, so it's kind of this weird. I mean, it's kind of this weird, damned if you do, damned if you don't, because it's like I don't want to be constantly doom scrolling on my phone, but at the same time, it's like, what the hell else am I going to look at? So, how do we stop that? I guess, Kevin, how do we fix society? In your opinion, you're a good father. You've raised a great family. Is family the most important thing? Or what is the most important thing? Trying to save the world or trying to save your family?
Well, I think saving the family is a good place to start because that's something you do about. I don't know individually we can save the planet, but saving the family, making the nuclear family more important again, that there is a mom and dad in the family, that you're teaching your kids moral values. Look, ever since we took the Bible out of school, I don't want to get all Bible banger here. I'm a Christian, but I'm not like a perfect Christian, trust me. I'm probably a very bad one. But I look at that as the reason why everything fell apart. In 1964, they took the Bible out. Ironically, they give the Bible to prisoners, which is really weird. They give those Bibles, but not to school children. Some states are starting to bring it back. But every year, it just got a little bit worse. And then the last 20 years, it just accelerated on itself. And I think that, we're having less kids. We're having, well, at least white people are having less kids, getting married much later in life. It's weird what's happening, but I think people are getting fed up. I'm seeing my kids' ages in 23, 2019, 20, 21, and 23, my daughter's 19. They're sick of it. And I think a lot of people got sick of the lies that COVID did that wrecked a lot of high school and colleges for kids as well. They're waking up and fighting back and say, you know what? The heck with what you guys are doing. Look at the lies of the Democrat Party the last 4 years when Biden was in office. Kamala Harris is in charge of a border. Oh, we're taking care of it. It's fine. Look at the difference between now and then. What do we have, 19 people a day coming across instead of 20, 30,000 a day?
It's the
unbelievable.
first time in 50 years we reported less immigration numbers in a month. We actually had a reduction in immigration for the first time in 50 years. I mean, and that's the direction that we need to head. But you spend a lot of time in California. Gavin Newsom, you know, everybody's talking about AOC, Bernie Sanders, and I do think that AOC is probably going to be the nominee or potentially part of the ticket for, you know, the 2028 campaign. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Gavin Newsom would be the other person, not Bernie Sanders. But I could be wrong. Give us a little insight to Gavin Newsom.
You know what? I've been out of the state for 6.5 years. I don't even pay attention to the state anymore. I had to go back to shoot a movie a couple months ago in Valencia. I was like, oh God, I got to go back to LA. They've wrecked a great state. He has wrecked a great state. For people to vote for him to be the front runner for president of this country is just, it's mind boggling to me. It makes zero sense to me. This guy, what he did with the fires, what he did with everything. He cleans up San Francisco when China comes to town. But then once he's gone, let everybody go on and hang out in the streets again. And I still laugh at the fact that they put physical signs up like there were like no parking signs, but they would say only steal $950 worth of merchandise.
Yeah, they put the threshold. It's not a felony if you only steal under $1,000, and they'll encourage people to stay under that threshold.
And when they ran in Nordstrom's and they grabbed those Versace suits, I'm sure they checked that there was a sale price tag.
Yeah, they did. They had their calculator out. Okay, this is only $875. We're good. Okay, a good friend of the show, Jason Goodman. He worked on he was a cinematographer. Now he's a podcaster, investigative journalist. He has a great channel, but he's a big fan of yours. Worked as a cinematographer on Julia X. Wanted me to say hi, but he's begging for Julia Y. Is Julia Y? He sent me 10 messages. He's like, please beg Kevin to make Julia Y. So is Julia Y going to come out? Yes or no, Kevin?
That's really up to them. Julia X was actually a good movie. It's the first movie I told my mom she can't see. I played a serial killer. And it wasn't as gruesome as it was more of a psychological thriller, but they put a lot of comedy into it, which I like. It actually won the Austin Film Festival, but then something happened between the director and the money guys, and they fought back and forth in court for so long that the movie just disappeared, which is too bad.
No, because Jason said it was a good movie. It's so unfortunate that it happens like that. Okay, but before we only got you for a couple minutes, but I want to introduce you to our next guest. Now, she's a very a popular young comedian. Her clips go so viral. I don't know if you are familiar with her, Kevin, but I wanted to introduce you to, and let's bring her on, the one, the only Leonarda Jonie. Leonarda, obviously you know Hollywood icon Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, put her on. She was too young. She wasn't even born when I shot that show.
That's not true. I grew up watching your show on TV.
Did?
Yes, in the Bronx. I was watching Hercules. It was like awesome. Hercules and
I can hear the
Xena.
Bronx now. Look, this is the sword I got from 7 years in that show. That was the final sword they gave me in the very last day, in the very last episode of Hercules, which was a lot of blast. But I'll tell you right now, I got to brag. It became the most watched show in the world by season 3. We were in 176 countries.
It was the
When I
biggest
tell
hit
my
ever.
mom that
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Leonarda.
if I tell my mom I was on a show with Hercules, she's going to be like, okay, now you made it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did. Even though Leonarda gets calls from Kid Rock all the time, she got canceled the other day, and Kid Rock came to her defense. I thought that was great. But Leonarda, actually, you brought up a good point. Xena, what was the kind of drama between you and Xena? I know you're going to say that y'all were friends, but you guys were competing for the most popular show. What was that dynamic like?
That was our season 3 spinoff show. I always joke that it was our lesbian spinoff show because they kind of played up on that quite a bit. But that came out in season 3. I don't know. I got no spit. I mean, I haven't seen her in 20 years. I have no idea what she's doing because she lives in New Zealand, so I haven't seen her. I love talking about season 5. We spun off Young Hercules. A lot of people forget about this show because it lasted 2 years and was canceled. And the 20-year-old actor playing me was devastated. I took him out to lunch there. I lived in New Zealand for 7 years. That's where all of them were shot. And I said, dude, you're 21 years old now. You're a really good actor. You're going to do fine. It was Ryan Gosling playing me as the teenager.
No! Wow!
Pull up the pictures. Look for pictures of Ryan Gosling as young Hercules.
Jimmy, pull it up. Oh, that's insane. Okay, now I want to ask you a tough question, though. One last tough question before I let you go, and we have Leonarda on. And Leonarda is going to agree with you, and I agree with you. I saw you tweet, and I thought this was very brave of you, that you do not want us to support a war in Iran. I think that is a very normal opinion to have. I saw you got a little heat for that. I think Leonarda agrees.
I get a heat for everything I post.
I know, but why is that a controversial opinion that we don't want to be in World War III, Kevin? And why are they considering you? I don't think I saw anti-Semitic.
I don't know.
But why is that anti-Semitic to say that?
But Alex, look at the last 20 years. What did we do over in the Middle East with Iraq and Afghanistan? What did we do to make life better for those people? We left $80 billion, Joe Biden leaving all of our tax-paid equipment to the Taliban, and everything's the same there. We did nothing. We absolutely did nothing, and it's unbelievable to me. That's the trouble when governments fought our wars. If the governments fought our wars back in World War II, you and I wouldn't be here right now. If we were, we'd be speaking Japanese or German. Who knows?
Yeah, and if we were speaking German, we actually, we'd probably be doing better. I'm just a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Okay, now, Kevin, is there anything, Leonarda, you want to ask Kevin before we let the Hollywood icon go off to his glamorous lifestyle?
Oh, bro. Oh, man, you put me on the spot now. I don't know. I just agree with him about us not fighting the war in the Middle East. And I think the whole thing about calling you anti-Semitic is the same propaganda they do when you say you don't want to transition your kids, and then they call you transphobic. When you say you don't think you should be prancing gay people around, then they call you homophobic. These are just ad hominem attacks that they do to silence you because they don't actually have a legitimate argument against your position. So they have to discredit you as the source so that the people who are still kind of hypnotized by the mass media go, oh, okay, I can discard that person. They're an anti-Semite. They're a conspiracy theorist. So it's just BS. And I think, I follow Kevin on Twitter and I love his tweets. And I don't actually remember anything that I disagreed with. I'm like, oh, it's pretty awesome that we got this big
Kevin's
Hollywood
base,
icon.
Leonarda. I've never seen his tweet, and I'm like, damn, Kevin's really not pulling any punches. And this is the last thing I'll say, Kevin. It's not anti-Semitic to say Jews run Hollywood when every movie you saw was Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder making jokes, saying Jews run Hollywood. You know what I mean? And Blazing Saddles, all these old movies, this and that. I'm just saying, why is that? Why is that considered anti-Semitic? I mean, Jewish people are successful in certain industries. Why is that anti-Semitic? It's ridiculous.
When I moved out at the end of 1986 I left my little town in Minnesota, moved to LA to pursue the actor's dream. Even then, I heard other people saying it's a Jewish mafia and a gay mafia. I mean, I said, well, there's a lot of them around. I've worked with gay people in every movie, pretty much every TV show I've been on. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't sit there you won't find one saying I'm making fun of them. And the anti-Semite thing kind of cracks me up. I've been over to Israel like 6 times, bringing groups of 80 people to walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Last year, people canceled because of the war. This year, we decided it's still unstable there. We're going to go in September. I'm taking a group of 40 people. We're going to walk in the footsteps of the Apostle Paul through Greece, and we're really looking forward, and it's going to be awesome. So there you go,
guys.
Are you coming down to Florida to do your sitcom? Are you doing your comedy?
I'm doing my show down in Florida. Yeah, I'll be in Tampa, Miami, Orlando. I'm working on Jacksonville, but I'm going to be in all those places.
Well, try to come down to the Fort Lauderdale and to Westlake Village area.
And Kevin,
I think the closest I'm going to be there is Hollywood, Florida, which is like right near Miami.
And you need to go follow Leonarda back. But Kevin, real quick, you got to go follow Leonarda back. Her clips always go viral. All of her videos are always going viral. So you definitely, she's a great follow. And I definitely want you guys to link up. And Kevin, before you go, your son Braden's got a book coming out. You want to plug that real quick?
Yes, it's out right now. He's been doing a lot of speaking events. He's gonna be up at the
Turning Point
in Tampa for Charlie Kirk's event. Charlie Kirk brings him in to speak, and it's called Embracing Masculinity in a World That's Pushing Men Down.
It's a great book.
Oh, that's great.
It's a great book.
Hey, I got a quick question.
Yes.
Kevin, are you working, because you said you have a studio, are you working on any movies right now, especially anything that you're really excited about?
I've got 4 new movies coming out this year. 2 are secular ones, are comedies. One I play a 700-year-old vampire. It was a blast. I got 2 faith-based, family-friendly, based on true stories. I got 3 documentaries. I think one of my favorites coming out is based on The Last Supper. It's called Eating with the Enemy. It's pretty interesting. And I just shot 2 movies. One's called Christmas Eve. That'll be out Christmas. That one deals with 5 different short stories at different points and centuries of the world. There's something important happen on Christmas Eve. And then I've got a movie I'm directing pretty soon. And I'm about to star in a movie in 2 weeks with Dean Cain, who played Superman on TV.
The legend.
And Dean is directing. I'm starring in it. It's a golf comedy. It's very funny. It's called Holy One. And it's I'm a golfer, so it's gonna be fun for me to play this golfer in this movie.
Well, actually,
Kevin, if you need a based and racist comedian.
Yes, she is. If you need a racist comedian, she is one of the top racist comedians in the country. You guys
got my information. You make sure you give my contact information to
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we will. Well, Kevin, thank you for joining us this evening.
We'll talk.
Keep up the good work and keep being outspoken. I love retweeting your stuff, and I love that you're not afraid to
go
talk.
to sorbostudios.com. Sorbostudios.com. All kinds of information there, and a lot of good things happen on the pipeline. So, knock on wood, I'm still busy.
And is Lindsey Graham?
That's awesome.
Lindsey Graham hates your guts, though. I heard him tweet that. He says he wants you to. He says that he wants you killed and murdered. Does that scare you that Lindsey Graham is tweeting that, Kevin?
I would love that. Is that true?
No, that's not. I just made that up. No.
Because I met him. He goes up to my hip.
No, Lindsey would never say that. You would kick his ass. All right, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody go to sorbostudios.com. Kevin, thank you again. Have a good evening. And everybody go check out his son's book. Braden is awesome. All right, Kevin. Peace. See ya.
Leonardo, pleasure to meet you, by the way.
Nice meeting you as well. Thank you.
All right. Give her my info.
Yes, I will. Yes, sir. See you, Kevin. Leonarda, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. We just had the legend Kevin on, and you're a legend in the making, Leonarda. So what the hell?
Well.
What the hell is going on though? I have a real bone to pick with you.
Let's hear it.
No, I'm serious. I don't give a damn if you want to be Ava Braun Jr. or whatever you want to be. I don't give a damn. You want to make fun of Indians. Do not make fun of Mexican food. Who are you, Leonarda? I mean, I don't give a damn.
Okay.
No, real quick, because I want to hear your rant. But this is your, it's all the same thing. It's too simple. Enchilada is just a taco, a sauce on it. A burrito is just a bigger taco. That's what's beautiful, is that it is simple. It's that the Mexican made it. These aren't, they're not rocket scientists. It's a bean burrito. I mean, it's just supposed to taste good. I mean, so how can you say Mexican food, delicious chips? I know your ass likes chips and dip. I know that you like chips and queso, Leonarda. There's no way you don't like chips and hot sauce. That's impossible.
Sorry to disappoint you. Mexican food sucks. And with all the crazy shit that I've said online, this is the one that's pissing off people the most. And do you know why? Because you guys are peasants. You're peasants with the taste buds of peasants. You're like, ooh, give me some mashed up beans. This is so original. First of all, most of the Mexican food that you like, queso, is Tex-Mex. You can thank the white people for coming in and improving this indigenous cuisine that had absolutely zero creativity to it. Okay?
That's not true. Time out. Okay, if that was true, Leonarda, if that was true, then why is it called white people tacos, where you just cook the ground beef, you don't add any seasoning to it? Why is that not Tex-Mex?
Who calls that white people tacos?
That's the thing! Okay, now, Leonarda, I'm going to get pissed. You have never heard of white people tacos? You've never heard of white people tacos right now?
I've never heard of white people tacos.
You're lying! That's a whole thing on the internet. If you make tacos with the bland seasoning and you just put it in a flour tortilla, it's like, just like a shitty...
Who eats that? I've never heard of anybody eating just ground beef. First
I
of
ate
all,
that every day of my childhood, basically, literally.
The best Mexican restaurants are run by these, liberals who want to transition everybody's children, but they're super creative with food. Okay, so you already know I don't like those people, so I'm obviously being honest if I'm giving credit to the enemy. Those are the best. Have you been to Mexico? Every time you go to Mexico, you get sick.
That's
what does
true.
that tell you?
That's true. Last time I was in Mexico, Leonarda, I got so sick. I'm not even kidding. I couldn't even enjoy the trip. I was actually so freaking sick. But that's
horrible.
That is Mexico, but I just can't believe it because I go to all these damn restaurants, Leonarda, and when I walk through
you go to restaurants in America that call themselves Mexican cuisine, and if they are really run by Mexicans, they suck. Okay,
no,
but if you go to a Mexican restaurant that's got a head chef that's some kind of wannabe Anthony Bourdain type, you've got all these unique different things on the menu that you would never have in an actual Mexican cuisine place. Okay, and the reason they have to use so much seasoning is because you're using meat that's been old, and the more salt you put on meat, the more you can cover up that it's rancid. That's why we get sick, okay?
You're just sick. I mean, cumin is a special spice, and it is a delicious spice, and it's one of the best spices. I'm not going to let you. We're just going to
Alex, we just got a $20 super chat from Bad Buddha saying, I'm going to go eat Mexican food right after the show.
Exactly right, and that's why
Great. I hope you don't get food poisoning, Bad Buddha.
And I don't think Bad Buddhist will. He's a tough. The guy's like a junkyard dog. He could literally eat glass. But I want to play shot number 3. This joke is very funny. This is Leonarda's opinion of Mexican food.
I'm tired of everybody pretending
Like all these migrants have great food. Third world food is a scam. Mexican food sucks. Don't at me in the comments, Ignatius, you've never had guac. Shut up. It's an avocado smashed up. Don't tell me that people who are on the brink of starvation know anything about fine cuisine. Oh, but the spices, the seasoning. The reason they got to use so many spices is because you're eating a pigeon.
Leonarda, okay, my immigration plan.
Am I wrong?
No, yes,
wrong?
you're 100,000. You couldn't be any more wrong. And I don't give a damn if pigeons in it.
I would love for you. Okay, what are these tamales? Tamales are the most disgusting things I've ever had. It's just cornmeal. It's
How do you know my tamales?
cornmeal with a
I eat
little
tamales every
cornmeal with a
Christmas in my
little bit
family.
of meat because they're too poor to give you enough protein to sustain yourself. This is why Mexican women look like box fridges, because all they eat is beans, rice, and tamales. You're not going to have a good figure with that kind of macro distribution.
And let me tell you something, Leonarda. There's a saying, and Sam Tripoli says it, and I don't want to actually use the saying that he says, but if you ever have sex with a skinny girl, their vaginas feel like a car trunk. So I know that sounds weird. The skinnier they are, the more it feels like a trunk of a Cadillac. A fat woman feels like a cloud in heaven. I know that sounds crazy. I know they don't look as good, but a big booty Latina, my point is, they're a great specimen.
Alex, aren't you like dating or married to a thin
Very
white
white
girl?
woman. Yes, but I go to a lot
Yeah,
of
so how about you hush up a little bit
No,
there, okay?
she's going to like this. She's going to like you're saying this. But I stay in a lot of hotels, Leonarda, and so do you as a traveling working comic. And when I go to all these hotels, I notice a trend that every single one of them is being cleaned by a big booty Latina, and that even Donald Trump, a guy that wants to get rid of all the illegals, adopted an immigration plan saying that he's going to tell ICE not to go to these hotels to save the big booty Latinas. So if Donald Trump agrees with me and the big booty Latinas aren't part of Tren de Aruga, do you agree with my immigration plan that the big booty Latinas can stay and the dudes can hit the bricks?
No, they all have to go. And let me tell you something. When I go to hotels, I see a totally different trend. I see hotels that have been taken over by East Indian immigrants and are dilapidated and falling apart. I stayed at a hotel that was recently taken over by an East Indian immigrant, and I stepped on something, and I looked down, and it was a nail because the carpet had kind of been ripped close to where it's supposed to be, and then you just had the nail piece sticking up, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I like
so
those.
I
like
want
those.
him
And
to
guess
go
what?
to all the hotels, round up everybody whose complexion is darker than mine, because I'm a little, not super white, okay? And get them out. I don't care if they're a legal immigrant. Get out.
Leonarda, do not do that to my Hampton Inn breakfast. I love when it tastes like an Indian guy's foot. That's my favorite thing. But I wanted to play.
They're not in the Hampton Inn. They're not in the no, they're not in the Hampton Inn. They're taking over all the Ramadas. That's what I've seen, Ramadas and the Comfort Inns.
Well,
and honestly, if somebody listening right now can put an app together that lists all the hotels and motels that are owned by Indians so we can avoid them, that would be a super successful app.
Yes, it would for certain people like you. And I'm trying to find this video. Oh, this is insane.
Oh, cut it out, Alex.
No.
You're not trying to stay in a place that smells like
No,
onion.
I love, actually, my girlfriend always gets mad at me because I love curry and tikka masala. Now, I want you to watch this video.
Once again, not real Indian food. That's an English impact on Indian food.
You're actually 100% right. And it's delicious. And actually, even I didn't even realize the banh mi is a Vietnamese sandwich, my favorite sandwich, was created by the French. It's funny, and that's actually really good. It's not even created by Vietnamese. So you are right about that. But real quick, pull up my laptop. In India, you're going to like this video. So I'm not even going to say anything, but I want you to see they invented something new in India. I want you to watch this video and then give us your opinion. Let's see.
This is a metal soap. I mean, just hear the sound. So basically, this soap is used to remove any kind of strong odor. Like कभी-कभी onion, garlic, fish या meat को use करने के बाद एक smell आ जाती है हाथ में, तो ये उसको easily remove कर देगा. I think this is one of the best thing to keep it in your kitchen. This is a metal soap. I mean, just hear the sound. So basically, this soap is used to remove any kind of strong odor. Like कभी-कभी onion, garlic, fish या meat को use करने के बाद एक smell आ जाती है हाथ में, तो ये उसको easily remove कर देगा. I think this is one of the best thing to keep it in your kitchen.
Okay, why won't
I feel like I just called customer support and she was telling me how to fix my computer, and just like that, I didn't understand anything she said.
Well, what she said is that they have a new metal soap. And why do Indians...
Why can't they just use regular soap?
That's what I was thinking. I'm watching this whole thing. I'm like, why? Metal soap is not even a thing. If you rub a pot or pan on you, it's not going to clean you. It's going to make you more dirty. So Indians, which, like I said, I was on their side, but now they're not even, they're refusing to use regular soap. They're using metal soap. So I don't know. That makes me insane. But there's another video too, specifically I pulled up for you, and this video has been going so viral.
Look,
I don't know if you've seen this video. And Leonarda, I want you to answer this video. And I know you've seen this. You've seen this viral video, but real quick, I want to give it a little preface. This video is one of the most cringe videos you're going to see. But at the same time, I think every single thing this kid says is right. So let's watch it, and it's gonna be an interesting video if you guys haven't seen this video. But I kind of like the youthful, optimism that he has when he says this. So let's watch this, and then save your opinion for after it. Everybody needs to watch this clip of a young Jewish boy talking about the dangers of cell phones. Leonarda, why do you hate that?
I feel like I'm watching a woman.
Yeah, I mean, he's a gay Jewish boy. Why is that bad? Why do you want to kick him out of another country? I mean, hasn't he been kicked out of enough countries? Can't he just stay? I mean,
Because I'm pretty sure that what he's doing when he's not on his phone is figuring out how to create another centralized bank and make fake currency out of nowhere.
The banking
And I'd like to
industry,
know if
I
some
think
of
the
the-
banking
I'd
industry
like
is
to
run
know
by
if-
Catholics. I looked into it. I think it's being run by in the diamond industry.
You think the banking industry is
it's
run by Catholics,
Catholics
do
is
you?
what I read. I read
Sure,
that on the.
I wouldn't care. Honestly, I don't care who runs the banking industry. It just needs to stop. You know, I'm not committed to it being the Jews, even though it is. If it's the Catholics, F them too. That's how I feel about it. Just stop, because you're destroying the economy.
Okay, well, Leonarda, this is the other thing is we talk about the problems a lot. I bring up the problems a lot. You bring up the problems. And there are always these people like, but you never talk about the solutions. I try to come up with solutions. I feel like I don't. Sometimes I kind of come up with unorthodox solutions, like saying the big booty Latinas can stay. But, you know, obviously that's part joke, part serious. How do we actually, let's be real though, how do we make America better? Is that just kicking out every Indian guy because they stink? I mean, you know, you can't do that. That's not realistic. How do we realistically make our country better, Leonarda?
Listen, it's illegal to talk about the solutions that would actually work.
Oh, God.
Alex. You and I are both going to get deplatformed, and you know it.
Not that
That's why we can't
solution,
talk
not
about
that
the
solution, Leonarda. Other solutions. I shouldn't have used that word. How do we fix our country? That's not the solution. Not the non-final solution. How about that? How
The
do we find-
non-final
how do we find a
solution,
non-final
man.
solution?
Well, I mean, until you actually overthrow the centralized banking system, there's absolutely no hope. And that's not going to be able to happen in just one country because, as you know, Alex, almost every single country in the world has a centralized bank, except for North Korea, Iran, and I think China. I'm not sure about that, okay? But it used to be
I
more
think China
countries,
does.
right?
I think China does, and Libya was
China
one of the
might,
last.
but there,
And Libya was one of the last
Well, no,
countries
there
that
was-
wouldn't join it, and that's why
there-
they took them out.
there were three. I think there are three currently, but you're right. Libya was one of them. Syria was one of them. Iraq was one of them. What a surprise that those are the three countries that we've deemed are the most threatening, okay? You are having a global hegemonic power that runs the world through this centralized banking system that creates money out of nowhere. People don't understand this. Alex, if you were going to go buy a house today and you wanted to get a home loan, you go to a bank and you apply for it. And everybody thinks what the bank does is go, hey, we've got $100 million of deposits in, and I will give them a fraction. That's not what it does. As soon as they issue you a $200,000 loan, what they have done is created $200,000 of currency that didn't exist. And people are maybe a little dumb and don't understand why that's a problem. Well, what happens when you create a currency out of nowhere? You take value from the existing money. So now you, who maybe had $1 million in your account, has lost some percentage of that value because new money was created. This is happening on a mass scale. There is no way to fix any problem that exists anywhere without the overthrow of this. This is why I think Jesus overthrew the temples, through the money changing temples, money changing tables in the temple. Right? There's this hugely symbolic meaning there.
No, you're exactly right, though. I mean, when it comes to the inflation, if you actually just look at a chart when it looks at wages and the median price of a house in 1960, the prices of houses have gone up exponentially, but the wages and the money that we get has stayed stagnant. So you're right, until we stop this massive inflation and making our money worthless, we're never going to be able to fix the problem. And the fact that a single family home is just unattainable for probably the majority of society. You're right. I think it's almost doomed to fail. So what do we need? Anarchy? Does everything need to crash? What do we need to build it back
I
better?
don't really know. I think it's going to get to a point where people can't afford food. And then at that point, there comes a time when somebody rises up, because people are waiting for someone. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people who are disgruntled with both party systems.
Well, I have to cut you off. They're not going to be too stupid to follow Elon, though. You think Elon is going to be the leader of this kind of...
It could be. I hope not, because I agree with you. I don't like this tech thing, and I don't like him putting this chips in your brain and all this stuff. I'm not a fan of this. I don't believe in this.
Yeah,
and
all the
Will
money
Elon create a new political... honestly, I don't know who's going to do it. But when the person does and they're speaking the truth, and here's the real truth, it has to be a worldwide phenomenon. And this is why you see companies like Palantir monitoring everything and shutting down any kind of political dissension that could actually result in real change.
What do you think about Laura Loomer? She's been, talking about using Palantir to help the immigrants. And I'm like, Laura, you seem smart enough to know that they're going to use that technology against American citizens. That's why they have the Patriot Act. I mean, anything that they say that they're going to use on a foreign adversary is going to be used on domestic citizens. So what do you think about her simping for Iran so much and simping for Palantir when she has to know that there is something subversive with that company?
Well, first of all, Alex, I never trust ugly people. Ugly people have a really hard time in the world because they've been rejected, and they have a real need for vengeance. And this is what I see with Laura Loomer. She wants to position herself in a position of power to get back at all the people who bullied her for looking like a man. And before anybody accuses me of being anti-Semitic, Milo Yiannopoulos recently revealed that she's not even a real Jew, and that she started identifying as a Jew, I think post high school or college or whatever. So I'm like, this is the massive grifter of grifties here.
I know, but I don't think she's faking being Jewish, but I've heard Milo say that. I think she really is, but I don't know. But this is the one thing is, we talk about Laura's looks. She has lost weight. She does look better. I mean, I can tell some of her old pictures, she looks really fugly. She looks a little better, right? You won't even give her that.
Have you ever dealt with somebody who was fat growing up and they lose weight?
Yeah, and
they're always fat inside their brain.
That's true. You're right about that. And that's why when a fat girl
it doesn't matter.
And that's why when a fat girl gets skinny, they're still going to be a slut for whatever reason, because fat girls are usually...
For a long time, they're trying to prove something to themselves,
Okay, Leonardo, we only have you for a few more minutes. I want to talk to you about UPenn apologizing for Lia Thomas being on the women's swim team, and they're taking away all of his trophies and awards. I mean, what do you think about that?
These people are so pathetic. This is what you got to understand. This is what people need to understand. The majority of people, even in leadership positions, are followers and cowards, and they're going to go with the trend. So when the trend was talking about how, ooh, you're going to be mean if you don't let men beat up women in women's sports, they were all for it, right? Now that the culture is changing, now that we have won back from the Overton window, the idea that men cannot be women, which they granted us just to be like, ooh, look, you're making strides. Now they're jumping on the bandwagon. And people need to understand this. This is why we need to control the culture and the narrative, because most people are going to follow. And therefore, we need good leadership that's not going to lead people astray into self-destruction.
Yeah, you're right. But once again, like with these leaders, if you're going to look to like some influencer, I don't even know if that's a good leader. I mean, that's why I'm kind of like the great white hope to me is Donald Trump. But once again, I'm sure that there's some critiques to Donald Trump's presidency that you probably have and that, people probably have.
Yeah,
So,
we aren't deporting enough Indians. That's my critique for
Well,
Donald Trump. He's over
we don't
here.
want the
He's
Wi-Fi
here's
infrastructure to fail immediately, Leonardo. We got to keep our internet
That's a
up.
myth. That's a myth. You guys need to understand this. This idea that Indians are good at tech, I don't even understand how people believe this. Have you seen India? If they were good at tech, don't you think they'd actually be able to have functional toilets? They don't even use toilets. And on top of that, they're really bad at coding. People don't understand this. They're lazy and they're not creative. So they will put in these bugs in coding that white people who work, white men, let me just say, because women aren't that good at coding either, white men who work there have to go in and clean up the code and fix the bugs so everything doesn't fall apart. That's why, if you guys notice, so much of your technology doesn't work well because it's been taken over by Indians. More than that, people want to call me racist. Indians are extremely racist. They take over a company and then they only hire other Indians. They will interview white male candidates who are extremely qualified, above and beyond. And then they'll say something like, oh, okay, well, you used this software instead of this software, even though they're identical. Therefore, you're not qualified. And then they'll hire a young Indian that has to go through all this training, doesn't know what they're doing, because they're trying to keep it, they're very nepotistic.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right, though, because Boeing, the 737 MAX 9 or MAX 8 jet, the one that's been having all the problems, it's all because of the coding of the software. It has nothing to do with the plane. The plane's actually flies fine. It's just the software had bugs in it.
Thank you.
So you are right.
It's extremely dangerous.
And
dangerous.
There's this whole thing where these Indians, they had that whole H-1B1 visa scam where the people were signing up for jobs that they weren't qualified for, and they were having other Indians take the qualification test for them. You know what I mean? They'd have like one guy take the take the test for 6 or 7 people.
I'm aware.
Yeah, and that's
or what they'll do is they'll go and hire somebody who works there. They'll hire his wife. That's why you call, and there's all these Indian women trying to help you with tech. You're like, since when, man? Even regular women can't help me with tech. Now I got an Indian woman?
No, good luck. Your internet is never coming back. Okay, enough about the Indians, though. I actually am not so worried about the Bobs and Vagines of the world. What I am kind of worried about are these damn drones and robots. Now, this video is going viral of these robots in China playing soccer. And for some reason, even though this is going to end sports and kill sports, this was kind of entertaining. Like, I kind of like the idea that I could control one of these soccer players and play a sport. So let's watch this clip, then I want to get your opinion on it. You see, we got some dang robots. Look at that injured robot. We got a bunch of retarded robots trying to kick a ball, falling down. He's twerking. Look at that, another injured robot. How do the robots keep getting injured? That doesn't even make sense. Did they score a goal in this clip? Damn, this is exciting stuff. Oh! Oh, he fell down. Is he gonna? He got back up. Oh, look at that! Goal! Okay, that's enough of that. I mean, Leonardo, is it better to watch robots or stinky Mexicans kick a soccer ball?
Oh boy, this is a hard question. I felt like I was watching actual Asians play soccer because I couldn't tell the difference between those robots.
They're not stereotypically good at soccer, so I can see why you would get confused by that. But those robots, are we gonna?
I don't get it. It's so what's the word? It's just so
dystopian?
like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic. Yeah, it really is, and like that's what we're gonna be. We're gonna have that'll be the future of video games. But the reason why I see that, and I'm actually happy, because I think that the technology with the sex bots are getting to where it's going to be indistinguishable with a human. So what do you think about that? Women being replaced by robots, where men can just have?
I say this will be excellent. Let's send all the sex robots to India so they can stop procreating, and then the Indians can just rape sex bots instead of actual people, and it solves everybody's problems.
I kind of like that solution. I like that too, because they are horny guys. I think that is another problem with men. They say it's like the men are too horny and they're also too insecure to go get laid. I think that is having a problem in society where men are so sexually frustrated. I think women are sexually frustrated by the men with limp dicks that are, not aggressive enough. So where is that disconnect? Does it fall on the men in society for being too lackadaisical, or does it fall on the women for being too picky when it comes to choosing a man when it comes to, current dating?
It's funny. I just did a video of this called Women Are Retarded Part 2 that people could go watch on my YouTube channel, because I was seeing all these videos of these very ugly women filming themselves complaining that the men were too ugly for them. And I'm like, look, ladies, your Instagram filters and your makeup tricks have tricked you into thinking that you're more attractive than you are. And on top of that, because you're making these videos, I know that you have a shitty personality. So I don't know where you get off thinking that you need some kind of Chad Adonis who's going to want you. Chad Adonises are going for like 9s and 10s, which, sorry to tell you, but you're not. You don't understand. I know you post your pictures on Instagram and you have a bunch of other loser women telling you how beautiful you are. That's your first sign that you're not. Because a real beautiful woman, under her comments, it will say, oh, she's a pick-me. She's like a slut. She's really, oh, what is she? She's trying too hard. That's how you know it's a real beautiful woman. Okay. So,
well, that's how you know in
Instagram
comedy,
comments
real quick, but, and then when people say, oh, you did a good job, that in comedy, that really means you sucked. You know what I mean? So, like, unless they're hating.
That's right.
But if they
That's
if
right.
they hate on you, then that means you're probably killed. So you are right about that. In the comments, the real hot people are like, fuck this bitch, go eat a cheeseburger. You know what I mean?
That's correct. That's correct. And so I got to tell women, listen, the scale of 1 to 10 isn't based on how you feel about yourself. It's based on an objective reality of what exists in the world. Okay, so if everybody was ugly, maybe you'd be right that you're higher on the attractive scale. And this is why ugly women like to boost each other, right? Because they're trying to limit the scale to only the ugly, so that then they could say like, oh yeah, I'm attractive. It's the same thing comedians do, where they try to cancel actual funny comedians, because if we can get them off the scale of competitiveness, now the 9s and 10s of comedy, I'm not necessarily saying that's me, but the 9s and 10s of comedy don't exist. And so now somebody who's a 3 in comedy automatically becomes a 5. And it's the exact same thing with women. But I say to them, sweetie, Angelina Jolie exists. Megan Fox exists. These are 10s, okay? Don't even call yourself a 7, okay? Most of you are 5 and below. There's no problem. Men are forgiving. Men find 80% of women attractive. You just have to stop thinking you're going to get an Adonis because one time he was drunk and he slept with you. That's a totally different story.
I love it, and you are right. They have one drunk guy. They think that they can be with a 9 guy all the time. But you go after women, and Leonarda, I think that's why you are so funny, because you're ruthless. You don't mind making fun of women. You'll make fun of everybody. And I really like let's play SOT number 2. I really like your treatment of overweight women.
The hotter you are, the crazier you can be. Men will put up with it. But the opposite is also true. This is why fat girls used to be so nice.
Yeah.
But then the internet and a bunch of black dudes convinced them that they were hot too. Now you can't even talk to one. Relax, bitch. You can't have an attitude and type 2 diabetes. If you're over 300 pounds, you need to be as sweet as your blood sugar.
That's funny.
These fat white girls who get with a black dude and then they're like, see, I'm not racist. And I'm like, come on, Cheryl. It's not like you had a choice. It's like when black dudes are like, I don't even like them skinny white girls. I'm like, come on, Daryl. It's not like you had a choice either.
So just like BlackRock is artificially inflating the price of home, are black men artificially inflating the egos of fat women?
Yeah, and this is all because we lost racism.
Yeah. And you've been doing so good being a open racist, Leonarda, and that's why I love you. And you know, and I have a little racism, and we all got a little racism. We all believe in stereotypes.
That's my point. My point is we all have a little racism in us. And if we could come together over our shared racism, then we could be honest with each other and actually have honest relationships with each other. We don't have to pretend. Black people don't have to pretend that they totally love white people or that white people are good dancers or they like their food or anything like that. And white people don't have to pretend that they're not afraid of black people. So we can come together over our mutual dislike and distrust of each other, and maybe from there we can actually build some actual relationships.
Well, I would argue, even though there is some white versus black tension, that and people are going to say that I'm wrong. I think that black people are more racist to white people than white people are racist to black
Absolutely,
people.
100%. And they're blatantly racist and they're openly racist because they have this nice Marxist lie that they easily swallow because they want to, which is that in order to be racist, you have to have power. That's a lie. And first of all, and second of all, even if we were going to fulfill that criteria, you actually do, because look at how the media treats you versus how they treat white people. And look at what happens in a company if you accuse a white person of being racist versus if you accuse a black person of being racist. So you do actually have institutional power since the Marxists took over post-World War II in our country, okay? And then second of all, they are open about it because they believe like, oh, well, we were wronged all that time ago during slavery. So now anything we do to you is acceptable. And this is very much like an abuser, right? An abuser who gets maybe abused as a child then thinks, well, this is what happened to me as a child by totally different people. So it's okay for me to do this to anyone else who I deem because of what happened to me.
Yeah.
This is totally narcissistic. It's pathological and it needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the only way when you feel that victimhood, you have to make somebody else feel like a victim to make yourself feel better. And it's a really sad, vicious cycle. Okay, before you go, you got a great show coming up. Put the promo up. So, Leonarda, you had so many shows get canceled. You're one of the most canceled comedians of the past year, and you've had a meteoric rise in the last 2 years, Leonarda. You went from not being that well known to now you're incredibly popular. So, can you tell us about your upcoming shows and give us a little bit about how do you stop it from getting canceled? What are you doing now so that what happened in the past doesn't happen in the future?
Yeah. So my show that's coming up is in Texas. I'm going to do Fort Worth, July 12th. And I'm actually going to be doing a whole Texas tour in October of Houston, Austin, San Antonio, all those places. So people can just go to my website, leonardaisfunny.com. And they can sign up on my mailing list or they can buy tickets. I have all my ticket links up. So I do a few things. First of all, I don't list the location because I don't want anybody showing up and protesting who doesn't have tickets. If you want to show up and protest, you're going to have to buy a ticket. And even then, I use an AI screening process to kind of get rid of anyone who is suspicious.
Wow.
There's a couple of layers they have to go through. Okay. Then I have security at the shows and they're part of the element of screening and all that stuff. The next thing I do is I only work with locations that believe in free speech, but I still protect them because I don't want them dealing with calls.
Yeah.
And really, who's calling these places and complaining is other comedians.
Yeah.
I had low-tier, low-level open mic comedians who suck. They are not funny. They can't be funny for the life of them. Object and protest because I'm breaking the rules that they have willingly submitted themselves to, which they never wanted to do, and that's what they're really angry about.
Yep.
And I'm succeeding, and they can't have that. They can't stand it. So that's who's really calling these places. They're losers, and nobody's going to know who they are. Nobody knows who they are now.
Wait,
yeah.
real quick though, you are right because it's only a comedian would know even how to get a hold of the club manager, unless it's just some really crazy Karen. It's obviously going to be some other comedian that sees you being successful by saying whatever the hell you want, and they're jealous of that, and they don't like that you have that freedom. Because honestly, I see your freedom sometimes. I'm like, damn, I'd like to retweet this, but I don't know if I'm gonna, I don't know if I can retweet this right now, and I'm still very wide open. So I think that they envy you, and that's why they try to cancel you. And it's ridiculous, Leonarda, because every one of your clips that you post gets either 500,000 to 1 million views, and there's a reason why, because you're actually funny and you're actually not afraid and you're actually fearless. So thank you, Leonarda. Everybody go follow you. And how can they find you again? LeonardaIsfunny.com?
They can go to my website, leonardaisfunny.com. And I got all my shows up there, and they can sign up on my mailing list. I send out emails with like funny stories and my tour
Go
dates and
sign
all
up
that.
right now. And then, okay, last question before you go. The show's almost over. You had to pick a babysitter. Indian guy, Mexican guy, black guy, or a rabbi. Who would you have?
Oh boy.
You had to have one. Black
Indian
guy, rabbi.
Black guy.
or Indian. He is a rabbi.
I have to
He's
pick
not,
one.
He's not just a normal Jewish guy. He's a rabbi. He's actually ordained.
That makes it worse. I'm gonna pick that guy who's talking about his phone.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, we'll go with that. Who was talking about the phone? Was that the
Young Ben
That was
Shapiro.
the little Jewish.
Yeah,
Yeah, young
so
Ben
Jew.
Shapiro.
All right,
I
so,
got
yeah,
the Hasbara,
that's what I'm saying.
and
That,
my phone is not good.
I know it's a chachshusalacha. I can't do that, or whatever he said. That was good. I love that Yiddish. All right, Leonarda, thank you for joining us. Everybody go to leonardaisfunny.com and go catch her on an upcoming tour date in a city near you. All right, we love Leonarda. Always appreciate her joining us. And then also we love Kevin Sorbo. Thank you, Kevin, for joining the show. Both of those American patriots actually care about this country, so you guys need to go and support them because they're actually doing good work. Now, if you guys like to have some fun like me, and have a little bourbon, but, some like to chase the trends. But at Flying Aces, we chase legacy. This is straight bourbon the way it was meant to be. Bold, balanced, and unapologetically American. No gimmicks, no fluff, just real whiskey made for people who still believe in hard work, high standards, and doing things the right way. Whether you're winding down after a long day or raising a glass with good company, Flying Ace delivers every time. It's not about hype, it's about heritage and getting back to what bourbon was always supposed to be. If that sounds like you're kind of poor, it's time to level up. Buy online at flyingacespirits.com and use code BLAZE for free shipping. That's flyingacespirits.com. Use that code BLAZE for free shipping. And it's good stuff, strong stuff, and drink responsibly, of course, always. All right, guys, that's been our show. We got a crazy week. We're going to be in Tampa. We might have a surprise show Tuesday. Be on the lookout for that. Thank you to our guests. And we end the show the same way.
So, Alex, is Elon getting deported?
Is Elon getting deported? No, I do not think he will be. I think he
cool.
should be. I think Elon should get deported. I think he should be deported. Honestly, I think we should send him to Alligator Auschwitz right now, and he can be with all the other illegals. And then we can, kick him out of there when it's time for him to go. When the trains get running, we can put him on a train car and get him out of here. Train straight to South Africa. All right, guys, that's been our show. We end the show the same way every time with the freestyle finale. So, DJ, hit that beat. Yo. Whew, I'm feeling hot. Got that fan in my face. Hope you like the taste. Kevin Sorbo. He had to go. Had a great show. Leonarda Jonie. She's going to win a Tony, which is on stage. She's all the rage. And I love my girl, Paige. She agrees. No big booty Latinas. They got to go like Katrina. All right, guys, I love you. On Primetime 99, we're going to be off for the 4th, but I will be going live. So make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and catch me live over the next 2 weeks. Peace.